I believe I am live. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. The tool in Facebook kept getting stuck when I tried to add the little link in the description. All right. So I'm going to give everyone a moment to kind of refresh and hop on. But basically, this is the Q&A for the product launch challenge. So, this is where you'll ask all your questions about launching a product, maybe things that you'll follow up questions from the lessons. And everyone who leaves a question or a thoughtful comment, meaning, not just like yes, but a thoughtful comment or a question, will get a copy of my free 41 Clever Ways to Monetize a Travel blog. I just updated it for the new year. So that will be sent to everyone who leaves a comment or question on this live via DM. And one person who asks a question will win a free month of Travel Blog Prosperity. I'm going to just use a little random number generator to do that once we are done. So feel free to start asking your questions. I do have a few questions that came in and just a few things I wanted to address based on questions that came in. So the first one is just kind of like, why a digital product? I have been blogging since 2011 and I have a few different monetization streams, digital products, as well as services and non-digital products, mainly my NYC photo tours and photo shoots, as well as my NYC itinerary planning. But then I have loads of digital products too. I have printable calendars. Now, they're they're like 30-day action plan calendars, I'll say. I have workshops, I have courses, I've done paid summits. So I have a lot of digital products too, but then I also run Mediavine ads, I do affiliates, I do paid speaking, and I also work with brands and tourism boards on paid press trips and things like that. I'm currently an ambassador for Travel Payouts. I'm sure many of you have seen they've sponsored this challenge and things like that. But what's really neat about a digital product is you don't need a huge audience. You just need the right audience. Even if you have a small audience, but they are the right audience who would benefit from your product, you can still do well with this. And I'll give you an example. When I first started my NYC Photo Journeys tours, which that came about as an idea because I had so many readers asking me to show them around New York. And I just realized, okay, I need to create something, kind of brainstormed, all right, there's millions of food tours and history tours. What can I do different? Well, I'm doing photography and, people go on vacation and they don't have photos of themselves. So I identified a problem, listened to my audience, and I launched that. That's like 2013. And now, oh my gosh, that's like a whole business in itself. I created a separate website for it, etc. But in the beginning, because I was selling through Jesse on a Journey, but it wasn't like now where I'm at, I'm getting bookings every single week, like loads of different bookings. I put it on its own website and it was almost like starting from scratch. But I was still able to sell because I focused on collaborations. I went to local hotels in New York and I was like, hey, I'll give um, your guests a discount. I also worked with different affiliates. Like I grew an affiliate program for that, which allowed other people to promote my product. I also utilized like online travel agencies that already had visibility, like Expedia, Viator, um, Get Your Guide. Like there's so many of those. And if you're not doing tours, that's okay. You could utilize maybe Amazon or Etsy. There's so many different platforms. You could collaborate with other creators. Hey, if you promote my opt-in freebie that's gonna lead people to my product, I'll do the same for you. You could run ads. So there is so many different ways. It just really allows you to have more control over your income. You're not just kind of, like with Mediavine, it can be great money, but you really are dependent on algorithms and things like that. And I wanted to touch on going back to, I just mentioned the freebie. One thing I want to make very clear is your freebie should solve the same problem or a related problem to your paid product because you want to make sure you're growing your email list with the people who would benefit from that product. I see a lot of people, oh, I have this one, maybe you cover loads of different destinations, but your one Italy posted well, so then you create an Italy related freebie, but then your product is related to something totally different. It can be tricky to have it be very cohesive and work very well. That's not to say if you see, okay, this subtopic is doing really well, maybe you create like a side sales funnel. I do that with a large segment on my list is travel bloggers, all of you. But I have a very engaged smaller segment of my list that wants to learn how to launch a tour company. I have a small, just like workshop about that. So I have a freebie. It leads people to a pitch for that workshop. And then I have just a few pieces of content that do well, that just evergreen lead people through that funnel. It's not big enough for me to be emailing that segment on my list custom emails every week like I do with the people here, but I created something evergreen that's working in the background because I saw a need. So identify those as well. And in terms of one question that came up, how does the freebie lead into the paid product? It could be a few different ways. It could be people grab your freebie and then on the thank you page, you have a limited time, really highly discounted offer that's called a tripwire funnel. I believe I shared a link to a guide about that. If not in an email already, then that will be tomorrow. You could just be growing your list with people who then you'll share your products with later. You could have them come into an automated welcome sequence that ends with a pitch to your product. So it really depends. Like with my courses, a lot of times I'm doing those tripwires, I'm doing those automated email sequences, I'm hosting pop-up events where I pitch my product. Maybe I'm sharing an email with 3 tips on how to monetize your blog, and then I'm sharing about my membership. Or it could be like with my tours or my NYC travel planning. When people grab my NYC related freebie, I'm letting them know right away what I offer, because I don't know exactly when they're coming to New York City. Maybe they're planning their trip for this weekend, which happens quite a bit. So you do want to play around a bit with it. It could look different depending on the product you're offering. All right, let me see what questions came in. I have a few more on my sheet. Derek, not a question, but I wanted to share that I've been puzzling over what I could possibly offer for a digital product for a long time. By day 3 of this exercise, I had a great one identified. I love that. And I love that people are starting to think about digital products, especially with all of these Google algorithm updates. Even if it's not Google, it's Pinterest. If it's not Pinterest, it's Instagram. All of these algorithms are always going to be changing. Your email list is really the thing that you own and is going to help make your business algorithm proof. I really want everyone here to stop thinking about their blog as sort of like a digital magazine, almost like you're sharing posts and waiting for traffic, but as a real business. Okay. How often should you make a new freebie? You don't have to always be making new freebies. Actually, so in my travel blog prosperity membership, I just had Emily of Emily Eats and Explores teach a guest workshop. It was amazing. On if anyone follows her on Instagram, she has such amazing reels. But the workshop was about how to use Instagram reels to grow your email list and sell products. She has one opt-in, and that's totally fine. You really only need one, especially if all your products have the same audience. For me, I have a few different segments that I'm selling to. I have my travel bloggers, I have my tour guides, I have my solo female travelers, and I have my New York travelers. So I have a few different ones. You might want to test a few different ones, but when you test freebies, make sure that you're not saying, oh, no one's grabbing this, but no one saw it. You really need to be promoting these a ton, making sure hundreds of people see it before you really can say, okay, people love this or they don't. If only 10 people saw it and 2 people grabbed it, that's still a 20% conversion rate. So really make sure before you say a freebie is working, enough people saw it. Can you tell us the best ways to legally protect a digital product? I could give a few tips. One tip I will say when it comes to legal stuff, because let me preface, I'm not a lawyer, but check in your area if you have access to free or discounted legal services as a small business owner. So here in New York, we have an organization called NELP, Neighborhood Entrepreneurial Law Project, and I get access to 30 minutes a month of free legal assistance. So that's not enough time for them to like create a contract for me or anything, but I could draft something myself and have them look at it and give me notes. I've used it like when I've worked with brands or when I've just maybe I have run into issues a few times. I could bring that to them. You may also be entitled or you may also qualify for discounted services. For example, I had a team of lawyers actually draft up, if you've ever purchased like a digital product from me, you have to agree to terms. I had an actual lawyer draft those up. So as bloggers, we should have our legal pages, our privacy policy, our website disclaimer, and our terms of use for using the website. And then your cookies pop up. But when you sell products, you're going to want to also have a terms of use for that people should be agreeing to when they check out. That's one. Two, different platforms will have different built-in features. So for example, with Teachable, I can choose if you can download videos or not. You're not able to screen record either. They have something built in where you can't do that. So I know Teachable has a lot of different things where they protect your work. Individual platforms will be different though. And the other thing is to have things like your copyright symbol and things like that on any printables. When someone purchases a product from me too, when they log in, like let's say to a course, I have some important pieces from my terms, again, listed like copyright disclaimer and things like that. But I would talk to a lawyer because they're going to know even more things you should know too. Are you saying it's better to sell on Amazon or somewhere versus your website? I would definitely sell on your website. So when I was selling my tours, I was definitely selling on my website, but I was also selling on these other platforms. They do take a cut though. So once I grew my business to a point where I did not need the help of these other websites, I actually took my products off of those. But it depends. Like if you're selling an ebook or a physical book, Amazon is like the world's biggest bookseller and it's no extra work for you. I'd probably keep it on there. For me, I was selling tours. It is extra work for me to, I think Viator was taking 25% from me or something like that. And my tours are private. So for me to lead a tour for someone that booked directly with me versus Viator, I'm doing the same exact work, but with Viator, I was losing 25%. But it was great in the beginning because I was building that customer base and I was getting reviews. So a lot of my TripAdvisor reviews, especially in those early days, were from my Viator bookings. And they still live on my TripAdvisor page. And my TripAdvisor page is honestly a huge asset for my tours. If anyone's thinking about doing tours, very, very helpful. People will look at that. Are pop-ups still a thing? I was under the impression that they had gone out of favor. Can't stand them personally. I don't use them really. I know many people do though. The thing I would say if you do use pop-ups, make sure they are exit intent. You never want someone to come to your website and then whoosh, it takes up the screen. Have it be so that they're already leaving so they're not getting annoyed. Because you have to be a little careful with pop-ups. They can have a negative impact on Google Core Web Vitals. Today's email was about promoting your product. I'm transitioning one of my freebies to a paid product, modifying it a bit, and then making a mini workbook with a checklist in it. How do I market it so it doesn't sound like I'm moving a free product to a paid product? I would just make it more valuable, especially with a lot of printables. Like, for example, when people sell paid itineraries, I notice a lot of times they will have like printable maps or printable planning checklists and special assets to go with it that can make it more valuable. I don't think you need to tell anyone though that like, hey, this was a freebie and now it's a paid thing, because you're going to revamp it to be a special paid thing. And you're kind of changing that. So I don't think you need to tell anyone that. Just make it something valuable and make sure whatever you price it as, the value's even more. Like that's the best thing when you buy something and you get even more than you expected. That's how you're going to make a great impression, and it's going to help you have repeat customers when you create even more products. Do you have any tips on how to structure the content of the freebie versus paid product? Specifically, how not to give away too much value in the freebie where they don't feel like they need the paid product, but where you provide enough value that they still want the freebie. You can maybe choose like one specific smaller problem that that you solve in the paid product. You kind of want to position it so that the freebie is answering a question, and then the paid product is the logical next step. So I would think about that. And honestly, if you are having trouble with that, ChatGPT can be amazing for helping you come up with ideas, finesse ideas, and things like that. And then you can create your own content from there. Can we have different freebies on different pages? I'm not 100% sure what you mean. Maybe you mean like different landing page for different freebies. If you go to my, let me grab these links. Like on my website, if you go to my Get Started page, I have, and this is for my travel segment really, but I have all my various freebies there. But if you click those, they all have their own separate landing pages. But most people will still have some type of freebies page. Many people have like an everything page that has their freebies and paid products, like a landing page of some kind where people can see what you offer, but each individual item should have its own page. What's really neat about your freebies and the landing pages is they can rank in Google. I have a few opt-ins that rank on the first page of Google for the keyword. So it's not like when I'm launching a freebie or a product, it's great if it ranks, but I'm not like truly optimizing it for SEO. My mindset is completely different with a paid, like a sales page. I'm trying to, like, my main goal is to speak to the person who's already on that page. If it attracts new people, that's great too. And same with freebies. I'm not necessarily going into key search, sourcing different keywords and stuff. If I can get a few in, that's great, but I'm not like optimizing it in the way I would a blog post. My current freebies aren't working well lately. Think about why that might be. So you want to think about the journey of the person. Are they not even seeing the landing page? If so, there's a traffic problem, right? You're not sending enough people to the landing page. Are they coming to the landing page but not grabbing the freebie? Then that could be an issue with the landing page itself needing to be like edited and become more enticing. So think about where people are falling off in that journey to grabbing the freebie, or, and think about maybe your freebie is something people would want, but not enough people have seen it. Before launching a freebie, should I first create a plan for what to write in my newsletters? I have no idea what to write. And do I need lots of content on my blog before creating a freebie and then a paid product? I think people should be growing their email list from the beginning. And think about this. Like when I started my NYC Photo Journeys website, I was starting with a product. So I had a paid offer, and then I was starting from zero with the sales pages and the blog content and building all that out. So you don't necessarily need like X amount of blog posts to sell a product. Your email list, I would not wait on. Like I said before, it's really the only way to be algorithm proof. That's how you're going to take these people visiting and turn them into repeat readers. And then you had asked, should I have an idea of what to write in your newsletter? The freebie should relate to what you have in your newsletter. Like the way they opted in is kind of what they're going to expect. And this is where the idea of having a more niche site or a specific audience versus kind of covering every topic and trying to speak to everyone is really helpful. If your site is all about solo travel or all about Spain travel, you kind of already have it mapped out. You know you're going to be helping people visit Spain. You know what your blog post will be about. You know your product will be related to that. So think about your audience and what they'll need help with and really try to get everything to align, because also the thing that's great about that is it's going to make your content creation in general easier. Okay, I have this big blog post. I'm going to pull out some ideas for social media shares. Then I can create an email teaser and send that out as an email to my list. Everything's going to work together and just be promoting the same topics, just in different ways. Maybe on Instagram, it's a reel, and then a couple weeks later, you share the same idea as a carousel. An email is going to maybe be a little more text-based. Maybe add some GIFs in. So that it makes it easier if you know who your audience is and the specific problems you solve for them. Is there a max of freebies? No, but the more freebies you have, the more, like, there isn't really a reason to create a ton of them. It's more work for you. With each freebie, you have to create, like I use MailerLite, a group, and then you'll want to attach an automation to it. If you are creating freebies on all different topics, you want to be segmenting that list. That could mean sending them different content. I send my solo travelers completely different emails than my travel bloggers. That's double the work. But I mean, I segment my business like that. So you don't want to make it too complicated for yourself. Just start simple. Is it okay to include a promotion of services inside the freebie? For example, in a travel tips guide, should I promote my paid services on the last page at an affordable price? You definitely could mention your services. I would, it's up to you. If you give a discount in the paid freebie, now they have this sort of hard copy of that discount that you might want to change. So I would offer, if you want to give a special discount, I would do a Tripwire offer. And I have a guide to that. Let me grab it. But it's basically a limited time special discount on the thank you page of your freebie. Tripwire funnel guide. So I just popped that in the comments. But like I was saying, with, for example, my NYC tours and itinerary planning, when people grab my, because I do not discount that because it's not a digital product. So it's time for money. I never discount stuff like that. I want people to know right away when they're interested in New York City travel. They grabbed my little PDF NYC travel guide with some of my favorite places and things to do. In that welcome email, I introduce myself and then I say, here are some of the ways I can help you travel in New York City. And then I share my services. Maybe it will be helpful. As I'm talking, I'll try to find the email because I have a bunch of automations for, I have like different automations for different products and stuff. So I'll try to find this and share the welcome email for that specific New York City thing. Is it all right to just have only the same one or two products or services you continue to offer? Or do you need and should you have multiple more, and do you need to be changing it up, selling different things? It is totally up to you. You can absolutely have one or two, but I think in order to grow, especially with digital products, it is helpful to keep creating and to try to create things that work together. That will be a natural thing your audience will want. So eventually, a lot of your audience, they're going to maybe have purchased something, or at least the people in your audience who will purchase something. Some people are just always going to be, on your email list. They're not going to buy, and that's okay too. Maybe they'll click an affiliate link. Maybe they'll help you land a brand partnership because your email list is really big and engaged. So there's other benefits to non-buyers being on your email list. But the more you can create natural upsells and things, it can be helpful. I'm not saying to create so many products that you're totally overwhelmed. Or another idea could be creating some type of recurring income problem. So I have my Travel Blog Prosperity membership. I have my VIP Opportunities newsletter. Those are two recurring income products I have where I still create new courses from time to time, but how I used to constantly create new courses, now I kind of fold everything into my Travel Blog Prosperity membership, and that's really my flagship thing for travel blogging. And then I have my action plan calendars, a couple other courses, but it really is up to you. What type of freebie is your favorite to create? Oof. Um, the like there's I'll say three, but it's going to be so different for each person. An email course is great because it it helps people in a very specific way. Like to me it's a natural extension, or like it naturally segues into a pitch for specifically like an educational product, but it acts as your automation sequence, which is nice. It saves time in that way. um, when selling courses, I also do like webinars and evergreen workshops. Those for me convert the best for courses specifically. And resource libraries, I think, are great for you're able to create new resources without having to create a new group and a new automation each time. So I have a travel resource library for my travelers, I have a blogging resource library for my bloggers. I will, like for my podcast, I'm always shouting out my blogger resource library. I just recorded, it didn't come out yet, but I just recorded an Instagram Reels episode with Raimi Travel, another great Reels creator. I created a cheat sheet to pair with that episode and I popped it into that resource library. So then when we're recording, I could say, grab access to my free travel blogger resource library. It includes 55 plus resources, including an Instagram stories or an Instagram Reels cheat sheet based on today's episode. I can specifically call out the products that make sense, but it's still packaged into this highly valuable freebie because it's a resource library. They're getting all these different things. But I also have had really good luck with simple printables. Like one of my top freebies ever has been my 31 influencer networks for travel bloggers. I mean, that's just a list of resources that I created. So you don't have to create something that's really in depth. Like I know some people are like, oh, maybe I'll create a free ebook. That can be good, but the reality is probably not a lot of people are going to have time to read it. Like a lot of people will grab it because they think they want it. I cannot tell you how many free ebooks I have that I've never opened. Because who has time? If you can give that information in a cheat sheet where people can actually read it and take action quickly, that's going to be more valuable. It's not about the amount of content you're giving people, it's about the quick wins you can get them. Perfect, Zara. Just let me know if any questions come up. How often do you suggest running sales? For the same product? Mm, it depends. I wouldn't do it too frequently so that people just assume, because then if you're doing it like every month, then realistically the price of the product is the sale price, right? What I typically do, like for my, or something else you can do, is add special bonuses. So, for example, I'd say I try to do it like once a quarter where I re-share about travel blog prosperity and I offer the introductory price for the first month. I mean, that's something I like to just give to people to allow them to explore the membership, but I'll throw special bonuses in there to make it almost like a launch. So, when you first launch your product, you'll have your big launch, hopefully you'll share a bunch of emails. Hey, I launched this thing. Check it out. Here's how it's helpful. Here's how it'll benefit you. But then you're like, okay, I launched it. Like, how do I reshare about this if it's not on sale? Well, you might tie a special bonus with it. You can do a limited time sale. Maybe you're like, hey, for anyone who buys this week, I'm gonna do a special Q&A. So you can still make these kind of special offerings without always putting it on a big sale or doing like a hey, I just launched this type of thing. Let me know if that, I know I just rambled, let me know if that doesn't make sense. And you don't have to do sales, by the way. Like I said, with my tours, those will never be on sale because they're so much work. It's fun work, I enjoy it, but it's work. Same with the travel planning, like the custom itineraries I do. If I did a pre-made itinerary, I'd be more likely to put it on sale because I've already made it. It's whether one person buys it or 100, it's not that much extra work. Yes, you'll have more people maybe emailing you questions. But when you do a custom itinerary, that's going to be a few hours at least of work. So for me, I do not put time for money things on sale. I need to figure out how to build a really good landing page, what to include or not include. Michelle, you are in Travel Blog Prosperity, so we actually have a sales page workshop that's really good, and you could kind of use some of the tips for your opt-in page as well. Your opt-in freebie page can be a little bit simpler. You're trying to get people to grab a freebie, so it's like, what are they going to get? How is this benefiting them? Maybe add a little bit of, what do you call it, expertise in there. Why should someone listen to you? But we have a really good sales page workshop taught by a copywriter with a lot of experience who gives us a template for it. So check that out. Do you have multiple different landing pages with different freebies? Each freebie will have its own separate landing page. Yeah, you want to have one call to action on those pages. Like on my freebie landing pages, I don't even show my main menu. I don't want someone to click anything else besides that. I do put my logo at the top so that people can click that if they want to go back to the home page, but I don't have a million button options. It's grab this freebie. Same with sales pages. It's like you either want them to buy it or, I make it easy to go back to the homepage if they need. Yes, I'll have a recording of this. I'm going to repost it basically to the Facebook page, and then I will put it in a link to it in tomorrow's email. So if there are different freebies on separate pillar pages, would that be useful? That could be useful if you want to, like, it kind of depends on your brand, but the example I always give is Cole's Classroom. I think he has his homepage set up differently now, but at one point when I looked at it, his whole business is about helping people take amazing photos in less time without the stress. His 3 pillars are helping you take better photos, helping you edit better, and helping you sell your photos. Not everyone that wants to take better photos is going to start like a photography business. Some people just want to take better photos for fun. So by having different freebies for like one freebie for each, he is better able to meet people where they're at. So think about that for your business too. That could potentially be very helpful. Oh, thank you, Lisa. When launching photo shoots in City A, would it be a good freebie to create a guide, XX best places for a photo shoot in City A, and then direct readers to a paid photo shoot service? Yep. So some of my popular blog posts that get me bookings are like best places to take photos in Brooklyn or best Brooklyn Bridge photo spots. And then I say, hey, if you'd like to be in the photos, I offer this service. So yes, you're attracting people who are interested in that type of, photo experience in the city. Is it okay to include affiliate links in your paid products? Absolutely. I did include a video tutorial in, it was day 2, I think, but let me grab that. It was created by Adventures by Lana. Let me see here. Yeah, so Adventures by Lana. She's like one of Travel Payout's top earners. They had her create this little tutorial. It's 7 or so minutes. So here is that tutorial on adding affiliate links to products. I also add affiliate links to my emails themselves and my freebies. Don't go overboard. Don't be like trying to jam an affiliate link in where it doesn't go. But, for example, during Emily taught that workshop today on Instagram Reels, we talked a ton about ManyChat. I'm going to include an affiliate link to ManyChat with that recording. That only makes sense. But I'm not going to, try to jimmy in strange affiliate links that it's like, oh, why is that there, But if you're naturally talking about a hotel that you love, or with the tutorial I just showed, she has some city guides where she recommends specific hotels and tours. You should definitely be using affiliate links. Just make sure to disclose. What is your best piece of advice for someone starting a new travel blog? Not building your email list. Haha. So I would say focus on building an email list from the beginning. And I'm not even just saying that because we're talking about this. I always, when people say, what is your thing you regret or your biggest mistake, it is by far waiting like 5 years to start an email list. I wish I would have been doing that from the beginning. Because again, that is how you keep traffic. Your reader that reads your blog post today may never come back. If you have them on your email list and you could say, hey, my new blog post published, I just recorded this YouTube video. You could share your Instagram reels, you could share your products, really everything. So it's really, really amazing. And then niche down. It's like I said before, it's going to be easier if you know who your audience is and how you help them. It's going to be so clear to you what to post on social, what blog posts to create, what YouTube videos, what freebies, what products. It'll all just be an extension of each other. Versus, I think the problem that a lot of travel bloggers who cover all these different topics run into, it's, well, I have solo travelers, but then I talk to family travelers and I cover all these different destinations. So you don't really know who your audience is, and that can make it really, really tricky. What are your thoughts about the new private community sites or apps such as Heartbeat, School, etc.? I have heard of these, but I have not used them myself. I use Teachable, and I really like them. I've heard good things about School, but I just haven't used them myself. A lot of things have free trials though, so you can also test things out. Like I know, like Teachable has a free trial, at least with my link. I don't think it's an affiliate thing. I think maybe everyone gets one, but a lot of them have free trials, so you can test them out. Do you recommend selling digital products on Etsy? If it's a good fit for Etsy, I don't see why not. Just make sure that you stay within their terms. I know a few years ago, someone in my community was selling something on Etsy and it wasn't within their guidelines somehow, even though we couldn't really figure out why, but they got banned from the platform. So yes, I think selling on Etsy can be really, really smart, but just make sure you definitely stay, look at their guidelines and make sure you abide by them. Yep, I got my idea for my freebie by checking out which digital products were popular on Etsy. It's like I feel like it's an overlooked resource for inspiration. There are tons of different digital travel products on Etsy. So I would that could be the first place you go for inspiration. There's so much on there. One I keep sharing, and I'll share it again right now, is this really cool but simple looking travel planner. Like this is a great example. Where did it go? I think here we go. There's a bunch of these, but let me pop this in the chat. So the Etsy link I just shared, it's just a really beautifully built out Google Sheets spreadsheet that they're charging like $10.46 for. It says it's on sale from $17.43. I don't know if it's always on sale or what, but personally, even though if you're good with Google Sheets, you might be like, well, I could create that myself, or you could spend $10 and have it created for you. Like to me, this seems totally worth it. And when people are like, oh, will people buy a spreadsheet? If you're going to make their life easier and save them like an hour or more of time, yeah, just price it accordingly. Like I brought up Rami before, Rami Travel. She has, I forget the price, it's under $20, just a content calendar for travel bloggers in her link in bio shop. And I know she's taught guest workshops for me. I follow her. She was just on my podcast. Like I love her Instagram content. And I was like, I could spend hours looking at her content, looking at what other people are posting on Reels, trying to make a thing for myself, or I could spend whatever it was, $12, $15, and just have a calendar created for me. So I was like, yeah, and I grabbed it. What about travel retreats? Is the profit margin high enough to offer them? I've never offered that myself, but I do know people who have, and I think if you do well with it, the profit margins can be very high. Let me share a podcast episode where I interviewed someone about this. Here we go. So I had Andy Eaton. Maybe some of you follow her from Wee Wee Studio. Okay. Retreats guide. So I just put that in the chat. I bought that last night. I can work in Google Sheets, but $10 versus the time it take to make one is a great deal. Yep, 100%. I think that was all of the questions that came in. Just want to go back to my sheet to make sure. Um, oh, and then one other question I just want to make sure to address that I saw come up is there an alternative to doing a big launch event? Because I know some people feel a little bit nervous about it. Usually you're sending quite a lot of emails, you're posting a lot on social media, and you might feel like you're being annoying. Couple thoughts on the idea of being annoying first. Not everyone is going to read every email and see every social post, so remember that. But with your emails, something I like to do, you can give people the option to opt out of your promotional emails without unsubscribing. So usually if I have like a 5-day launch event, day one, I share, hey, this thing is live, or hey, this week you can get special bonuses, whatever the special thing is. Then day two, I'm sharing, maybe day two is like an early bird bonus expiring, or maybe it's like, hey, a new bonus was just added to make it more exciting. But in that second email and the rest of the emails, I will usually include a want to stay on my list but don't want to hear about this week's special promotion. Click here to opt out. So that's something nice you can include in your sales emails if you're worried about being annoying. Honestly, when I do that, not a ton. Like some people will click that to opt out, but a lot of people, it takes time. I get my most sales during a launch like usually if I do a special like bonus added or early bird bonus expiring on the second day, that could be my biggest day. But usually like the last day, people either just finally got to their inbox or it took them some time to make a choice. But all of those emails are important. If you have a smaller product, like a $10 thing, you don't need to send 5 emails. It could be a 3-day thing. If you haven't looked at the workbook for this challenge, by the way, it does give some extra tips and insights. So I would definitely check that out. I also linked a bunch of real life products that I think will be helpful for people. But I do talk about, you know, there's sample launch plans in there too, short, smaller, more budget friendly product versus a bigger product. If you have $100+ product, people are going to need more nurturing. But if you don't want to do a launch event, something else I've done, particularly for my smaller products that are like less than $20, is I'll send just related content and then link to it. So maybe it's like 3 tips about X, how to do X in X time, like emails just sharing tips. And then I'll promote the product right in there. And I just kind of spread out those types of emails. So for example, I have a 30-day affiliate income plan calendar. I have it so that every like once a month or maybe once every other month, I'm sharing some affiliate tips and I mention that product. So it's not like I need to do a whole multi-day launch with it. So that's something to consider. All right, let's come back to the chats. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed the workbook. All right. So we'll end there. Oh, I saw one more question came in. Using ChatGPT to help me look for trends for my audience was helpful. Do you use any AI assistants to help you plan? ChatGPT. I do use WriteBlogger sometimes too. That's a good one. But I just really love like the prompt of ChatGPT. I love that I could save chats like for the what do you call it? The challenge that we're doing now. I have, oh my gosh, a chat that's so long. I had it kind of review the content. Did I miss anything? Do you have any ideas for examples? Help me create this launch plan. Like I had it helping a lot. Like I put all my tips and then I'm like, one thing I always do, did I miss anything? I want to know, even with blog posts, I give it my blog posts. I'm like, okay, here's what's ranking. Here's what I created. Is there something I'm missing? Is there something I could do to make my post even better or more actionable? So I do personally love ChatGPT. And then also for bouncing ideas off of too, for freebies and products and things like that. I'm convinced Jessie doesn't sleep. I promise I sleep. The thing that I think helps me a lot is well, A, all of these different freebies and products took there these are creations that came about over years, right? I didn't like do this all in a day, not by any means. My first course, I think I launched in like 2012, and it was like $15, and it was just me like talking really close to the camera, like giving tips, and it was people liked it for the time. That would not like fly today, but you just always improve. You learn technology changes and things like that. And the other thing is I'm always trying to create repeatable workflows. I'm trying to automate. I'm trying to cut things when they're not working. I try to double down on the things that are working. I track all my sales funnels and products and freebies. All right, these freebies are doing great. This one, not so much. I'm going to, cut it. Um, like at the end of the year, I'm always looking at my funnels to see, okay, this performed well. This performed better last year. Why is that? And I'm really tracking that. Okay, these affiliates are really bringing in the most income. How can I collaborate with them more? So I track and I try to create these repeatable workflows. Do you have assistants or a team? I have a virtual assistant who is amazing. Um, I have an accountant and bookkeeper, and I have a developer. So it's a small group, but I use SmarterQ. I just started using this tool SmarterQ for my social. I almost feel like that's an assistant because it will recycle your posts and things like that. Um, I use like when you use automation, it almost feels like you have an assistant, but nope, it's just really my virtual assistant is really the one who I'm constantly talking to and having me help with things. And ChatGPT, I guess, is my assistant too. Um, I'm so behind in the challenge. Life happened. Um, but going to get back on track. Will you be doing another challenge anytime soon? I don't have one planned for now, but I like to do these types of things when I can. Um, it's a lot of prep work. I feel like it looks simple because it's like 5 emails, but it honestly was like weeks of prepping and da da da. But I do try to do these when I can. I do plan to do a few new webinars this year because I want to revamp the ones that I have now on my site and have them retaught live. So there will be events. I'm doing the challenge slowly. And hopefully that's the good thing with email is even if you don't finish it this week, you have those emails so you can go back to it. And you have the workbook that you can, all that stuff is yours and the bonuses, the sample launch plan and stuff. So you can always go back to those. Um, all right. So we'll stop here. Basically how it'll work, everyone who left a question or a thoughtful comment, I will DM you the bonus, the 41 clever ways to monetize freebie. And then I am going to use a random number generator to choose the person who will win the free month of Travel Blog Prosperity. If you're already in Travel Blog Prosperity and you win, we'll do an alternative prize. You can choose between one of my action plan calendars. So I will expect DMs from me in the next, let's say 2 hours, just to be safe, but probably in the next hour. And I will do the the Travel Blog Prosperity winner once we hang up. And I will also DM that person and tag them in the replay, just because I don't want to make you guys all sit here and watch me do this random number generator thing. So yeah, so much fun hanging out with everyone. And then if you have any follow-up questions, you can leave them in this chat or you can leave them on, the daily action threads. And remember, if you comment on each of the day's action threads, you have until Sunday. Those people will all be entered into a giveaway, and there are a bunch of different prizes you can win. The winners will be announced on Monday. Bye, everyone.